World War II began in September 1939 as a conflict between the Allied and Axis powers. As it progressed into the 40s, the United States was merely an ally until the Japanese bombed Hawaii on December 7, 1941, an attack known as the Attack on Pearl Harbor. President Franklin D. Roosevelt declared war on Japan the following day. Germany and Italy proceeded to declare war on the U.S. 3 days later, plunging the United States into the deadliest conflict since the Civil War. World War II resulted in over 400,000 American casualties, including those killed in action, prisoners of war, and missing in action. These American troops were not honored for their service until 60 years later, when in 2004 President George W. Bush dedicated the World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C.
The memorial is vast, spanning a length of 337 feet. 4.4 million people pilgrimage to the memorial annually, making it one of Washington, D.C.'s most famous memorials. Its sign is a tall block of granite. Its Grecian lettering, a solemn introduction to the memorial's attributes. The U.S. seal is engraved below its letters, a simple yet patriotic greeting. At the foot of its flagpole, there is a single quote which states, "Americans came to liberate, not to conquer, to restore freedom, and to end tyranny." This quote declares America's role in the war as the protector of Europe against German rule. Above the quote, the 4 branches of the military are shown, uniting to form the flagpole which supports the American flag. This embodies the U.S. military protecting the American people through strength and unity. As one enters the monument, they stand in front of the Washington Monument, which honors the 18th century founding father, and face the Lincoln Memorial, which honors the 19th century preserver of our nation. The World War II Memorial in between honors the 20th century Americans who served, placing them on as high a pedestal as these famous presidents were. Along the wall of the entrance ramp, there are bronze plaques depicting scenes of wartime and peacetime, from soldiers preparing to jump out of a plane to a parade celebrating their victory. These scenes are three-dimensional, casting a shadow behind the soldiers' backs and giving them depth, so that they seem more lifelike. Their faces are stern, focused, and vigilant, which showcases their valiance. There are not only men portrayed, but women as well, because the war was known as the People's War, not the Men's War. These brave men and women have been encased in permanent, virtually indestructible bronze.
The 56 pillars that line the memorial are engraved with the names of each American state, territory, and province during the war. The pillars are placed in the order in which they joined the Union, beginning with Delaware, and alternating back and forth between the Pacific and Atlantic arches, as with a military procession. On each pillar are 2 wreaths, one on each side of the pillar, that alternate between oak and wheat, and embody the nation's agriculture and industry during the war's progression. In between each pillar is a thick bronze rope linking them, signifying a strong, durable, unified, and unbreakable bond between the states during the war. As one enters the memorial on the east and west wings, they walk through the Atlantic and Pacific arcs respectively. This placement of the arcs represent the Atlantic Ocean on the east coast and the Pacific Ocean on the west coast of the United States. Inside each arc is a small balcony overseeing the rest of the memorial. Similarly, a tall statue of 4 bronze eagles are shown holding a laurel wreath, symbolizing victory at sea, on land, and in the air. Outside of each arc is a small waterfall and wading pool. Each pool is marked with the names of the battles that commenced in that area, such as the Battle of Midway in the Pacific and the invasion of Sicily in the Atlantic. The granite 43-foot giants are the tallest, sturdiest features of the memorial, casting the rest of the memorial, and ergo the other aspects of the war, in their shadows, and bringing to light how significant the battles over these two oceans were. The Freedom Wall is located on the north end of the memorial. Here we mark the price of freedom, it reads. The wall is adorned with 4,000 gold stars, each representing 100 lives for a total of over 400,000 American casualties. During wartime, the gold star was a symbol of family sacrifice. The overwhelming amount is mirrored in the small wading pool underneath, letting the viewer take in the immense loss due to the war. It marks the most serene sight without fountains as people come to pay their respects.
In our opinion, this memorial serves as a fine tribute to the soldiers who served over 60 years ago. The memorial is well maintained. It has been orderly, clean, and serene for 7 years now. Aspects of the memorial, such as the rope, the quotes along the walls, and the flagpole, allude to the unity of the nation during the war. However, we feel that the memorial is long overdue. The war occurred 60 years before it was nationally commemorated, whereas with other memorials, such as the Vietnam Veterans Memorial, they were built at least 10 years after the war's end. Also, most of the veteran soldiers who served in the war are either deceased or of old age, so they are unable to appreciate the memorial for themselves. The memorial is memorabilia of World War II, a serene pavilion where veterans can come to remember their service. But whether the memorial stands or not, these people and their contribution to history will not be forgotten.